Hey y'all, how y'all doing today? It is Monday. This is the last week in July. So y'all know what that means. Time is winding down. It's crunch time, okay? Crunch time. I'm getting really kind of anxious, but I know I need not be. I need not be. As much as I come here and encourage other people, I should really be cool, calm, and collected. But you know, that's just, it's a part of it. It's a part of nursing school. It's a part of life. You have some situations that shake you up a bit, but you know, you shake it off and you get back in position and move forward. There was someone who sent me a message on my Instagram asking for some advice on how to move on after you failed the class. This person, well, I was gonna say your username, but you might not want anybody to know who you are. You might want to be anonymous, even though you didn't say that. But I told you I would do a video about it. You asked me, the question was, how do you go back? How do you, like, pretty much, how do you come back from a failure? And so my advice to you is, you failed the same class that I failed, which was OB and Peds. I failed the OB and Peds class last year, and you're currently going through that situation. And so you're wondering, how do you go on from here? And I know that is very hard and difficult. You've expressed that you've been depressed, and it's okay to feel that way. You have every right to feel that way. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you'll be fine, get over it. You have every right to be disappointed, but don't get so down on yourself to where you can't continue in the program. You have to move forward, because you have to be ready whenever they do allow you to retake that class. Or I think you said you're gonna start another program at another school, which I don't know the details behind that. But I just want to say to you that even though you may be going to another program, guess what? You're still going to be learning the same material. So my advice to you is, prepare yourself right now. If you're starting this class in August, then you might want to be in them books right now. Everything that you know you did really poorly on, you should be going in that book, highlighting, making notes for yourself, things like that, so that you can get back on track and pick up where you left off. Now, I did have a couple books that helped me in OB and Peds, and I used those books this past semester versus last semester. I mean last year, when I first took OB and Peds class. I don't think I had, or I did have some companion books that I used, some workbooks with questions, but they weren't the right books for the material. Maybe the questions were too easy or something, but they were not helpful for me. And my instructors made their own questions. They probably pulled some questions and reworded them from all types of different sources. So it helps if you have not only your textbook, but also an NCLEX book, another book that is geared towards the nursing specialty. So an OB study guide, a pediatric study guide. I did have a pediatric study guide that helped me a great deal in the PD portion of that class, and I can share that with you all later on. I don't have that on me. It's at home, of course, with the rest of my books, but I can't remember the name of it, but it helps me a whole lot. And honestly, I think my instructor, I think she did use that book to help her. But You know, it helps to have some companion books to study for those things. Also, another thing I did that I did not do in OB and Peds last year, I got together with study groups. The first 2 OB tests, well, I passed the first OB test. The second OB test, no. I mean, I didn't do so poorly to where it brought me down too much, but I didn't do well on that second test. The OB portion of that class is killer. It really is. It really is. The pediatric portion of OB and Peds is what saved my butt in that class. Let me just say that. And I don't know what it is. Maybe because OB, you're caring for a patient and her fetus, her unborn child. I don't know if that's what it is. I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure, because I would be in class and I would regurgitate information. The instructor would ask questions. I was very vocal. I would regurgitate the information, spit it right back out to her. She would ask questions. I would answer questions because I had reviewed the information already. But when it came to that test, I just don't know what happened on those OB tests. I really don't know. I feel like there would be some things that maybe we only touched on a little bit, and then it will pop up on the test. So that, I mean, is really nothing you can do about things like that. That's beyond your control. Even if you studied and done everything that you know you're supposed to do, sometimes those type of things happen. But I will say, the pediatric portion is what saved me. Get you some companion books, get in those study groups, and the study groups are really helpful because you have more than one brain spitting out information. What me and my study group did when we got together, it was the first time, it was almost my entire clinical group. We got together one day after clinicals, and I want to say it was the day before the test, so everybody had been reviewing the material already. And what we did is we reserved a room in the library. If you all, where you're at, have a public library where you can reserve private rooms to do study group study sessions, that's perfect. They gave us some of those erasable markers. I forgot what they call, but they have the easy board, whatever it's called, that board in those private rooms, and they had the erasable markers. They gave us a set of those and an eraser. And what we did, as we regurgitated that information, somebody was writing it down on the board. We were writing down everything that we knew, everything that we thought might be on the test, everything that the instructor stressed was important, and some information that, from speaking to other people who had taken the class previously, some stuff that they said was very important to remember. We wrote all of these things down. Y'all, that was so helpful, because if you reviewed and were doing everything that you were supposed to do already, then you're pretty much caught up on all the material, and everybody reviewing and just pointing out what they feel is important really helps, because the things that you may feel are not important, they may feel that they're important, and you're all coming together, and it works out really well. I used to hate doing study groups, but it's something about this nursing class that when we got together, we were just on time with everything. We all knew we needed to get out of there. We were all struggling. Just about all of us were struggling really bad. So we got together, and it's like it was no games. You know, some study groups you're just lollygagging, you're playing around, but it really was no games. We went to clinicals, we left clinicals. I think this might have been our last day of OB clinicals, but we went to clinicals, we left out of those clinicals. We got out kind of early, so we left there, we went to lunch, and everybody met up at the library. I brought cookies, somebody else bought some snacks, cupcakes or something like that, and we were there for a few hours, just in our study session, and that really helps me, y'all. I got a high B on the test, a high B. And the next test the final lecture exam after that, I did get together with 2 of my classmates. It was just 3 of us at that time, but we got together, and that still helped, along with everything else that I used, the companion book and everything else. That really helped. So I made another B on that test. I want to say I made a C on the final, but the final is OB and P's information combined. So don't be down on yourself. Don't be discouraged for too long. It's okay to be in a rut about it. It's okay. It's perfectly normal to feel that way. And like I said, you have every right to be upset, but don't let it keep you down. You have to pick up, dust yourself off, and get back at it. And you're going to feel so much better once you get through this class. Once you're done with it, I'm telling you, it's just a different feeling. You'll have a new understanding. Even my HESI scores, I did much better than I did the first time I took that class. You'll be surprised how different it is the second time around. You're gonna know some of the information already. You know, you'll be surprised how much, even though you didn't do well in that class, you'll be surprised how much of that information you actually retained. So just keep that in mind. And like I said in that other video, much prayer, much power. You know, I don't know who your God is or anything like that. I'm not gonna try to tell you who to pray to, but what I will say is that for me, much prayer, much power. Prayer, and more prayer is what has helped me along the way. So every time I get discouraged or getting to a point where I may be getting depressed, I get on my knees, I break out that Bible, start reading some scriptures. I have that type of relationship with God, and it helps me. It really is helpful for me. And you may need to get on your knees and pray. So other than that, that's pretty much all I did. That's the only things I did different. Of course, whenever I'm reviewing my notes on my own, I'm making some of my own notes. We have PowerPoints. So as we're doing class, I record the lecture. That's another thing. I record the lecture. When I get back home, I'll open the book up. I'll start reading the important parts. And you might want to try this. There's another YouTuber. She's a nurse now, and she has some nursing videos. I can't remember. I think it's Nurse Nicole or somebody like that. And she said what she used to do, instead of trying to read the chapters and things like that, which I never do anyway, she would read the first and last sentence of each paragraph to get through a chapter. Now, I did try that, and it was helpful for me last semester. What I did was I did that, but I also highlighted those charts, those tables in the book. And in our textbook, we had nursing alerts where it told you about certain medications and what you had to check for with certain medications, or what was contraindicated with certain medications, things like that, things that were really, really crucial. Those nursing alerts were very important, and I would study that, and that was really helpful. That with those charts, the drugs, make sure you have those drugs down pat, okay? You can never know too much about those drugs. So I just feel like I feel like you can do it. Encourage yourself, get up, dust yourself off, and get back at it. You can do it. I did it, and it was not hard. I mean, it was hard. I'm sorry. I was very down on myself. But once I was able to shake that off, hey, I overcame the odds. As you can see, I am now a senior. So that was helpful for me. Hopefully you can use some of these things and they will be helpful to you. And I want to hear about it whenever you do pass the class. I would like to know what all you implemented the second time around. So be blessed in your studies. I wish you nothing but the best, and may God be with you. And remember to keep holding on. Are you yet holding on? Keep on keeping on, baby. All right, y'all. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye.